Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shauna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Start Again with Shauna Lee. I am introducing you today to Brianne, an actual real-life artist is what I just called her. She is going to fill us all in on all of the creative endeavors that she is involved with. Brianne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay. Yes, I'm so excited to dive in and hear all about your business. So, the way I like to kick this off is to ask you how you identify as a Start Again Queen as you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and where you're coming from.
Hi, my name is Brianne, and I am a freelance photographer and abstract painter. I feel like the Start Again queen because in my business, I keep pivoting to different like income streams and just trying to establish my name too.
I love that. Now, before we got started recording, you said you've always been interested in art and that you've just recently started painting. So, maybe tell us a little bit about your background and how you identified that you were this creative being that you are.
From the early age of 10 years old, I was gifted a camera from my aunt, just like a basic point and shoot camera. It ran on batteries, real old school. So I would go out, and the area I live in is very rural and it has like a lot of landscapes and nature. So I would go out and photograph, just nature, and I really liked it. So then once that camera went, my parents bought me another point and shoot, and then from there I gradually upgraded into a DSLR. And then from there I was like, "Oh my god, I really like this." So then in high school, I took all the photography classes. I was in the darkroom the entire time. Everyone's always like, "Where's Brie?" Up, she's in the darkroom the whole period as usual. So I was like, "Man, I really like this. Let me major in it in college." So that's exactly what I did, and I have my bachelor's in fine arts in photography. And painting wise, I started that in 2017. I was just like messing around with it at first, trying to figure it out. And I always liked painting because I could make it like a three-dimensional surface as opposed to photography.
Oh, right.
So like I had that option if I wanted to. So I was just messing around, and then once my family got sick in 2019, then I really used it as an escape from reality, and I would just come downstairs and paint, and then it just helped me deal with everything that was going on in my life at the time. And then from there I further invested into a course taught how like to abstract paint and everything. And then I was like, man, I really like this. So then I kept painting and painting, and you know, now I have a million paintings now that I need to sell.
That's
But
awesome.
like, I really love painting too. And honestly, I think I can definitely paint full time and do photography full time
Yeah, that's awesome.
within this year.
I love that you just followed the thought, man, I really like this, and just kept going with it based on that simple little desire.
Oh yeah, and like even after I graduated college and was a photo editor, and I did automotive photography the past 2 years, and I don't know, like I would be at that job for like, even if I lasted a little over a year, I've never had a full-time job longer than maybe a year and a half. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me work for myself, because then I also hated how people ran things, and
Hmm.
like I could see, the company just blowing money on stupid shit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And then I would tell like my manager, and my manager's like, and I'm just like I just want to work for myself.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't ask you, but I get the sense that you are a little younger than me, and I'm in my late 40s. I think you're probably quite a bit younger than me, but I think that that is a very interesting pattern that I'm noticing with generations younger than me, where they are quicker to the realization that working for someone else is not the way to fulfillment.
Yeah, I discovered that probably within the first year or two of
Yeah.
graduating. And then like I would just, float to different jobs, and then I don't know, just between the stuff that I would hear like the bosses say too about like the workers and stuff. Like the one place I worked, the one guy's like, "Oh, well, if you don't like what you're getting paid here, work somewhere else." Dude, you're not even paying us for like anything
Yeah.
to be there for 8 hours a day.
And so you mentioned multiple income streams. So tell us a little bit about your business and what you're focused on and kind of where you see yourself moving next.
Sure. So, photography wise, I definitely want to specialize in women's empowerment photo shoots. And I also would love to work with like more clients to do branding photo shoots and just help, other small businesses have content for their social media.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And painting wise, I definitely like obviously now I'm looking into gallery representation. So I've been prepping everything the past like month or two and just finishing up work. With the painting, definitely be in galleries. And then I also have my own website that you can purchase. But I think with my website too, I want to have like more moderately priced, like minis for like, the average person too. I feel like everyone should have, beautiful art too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also want to do like painting lessons. I already have one client doing private painting lessons with me.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? And I stack, different people, and it's only 2 hours. My whole day's not shot. I can get other things done.
Hmm.
And like, I want to do girls' nights and painting parties. I've been in education for friggin' 8 years too as a substitute teacher. So, like, if doing kids'
Hmm.
parties, that's also a possibility too.
Well, I love that personally, just because I have four children. So I've seen my children kind of go through the phases of being in touch with their creativity and then seeing the conditioning kind of take that out of them. So I love when I see someone wanting to focus on children, like keeping them tuned into that creativity, I think is so important.
Well, I also feel like public schools also like condition you to be like a worker bee.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you have to, raise your hand to go to the bathroom. You have to complete all the assignments. You have to, I don't know, you just can't really like be yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, kids are mean too, but people can't really be themselves too, because then they're like scared of being judged and like everything. And
Yep.
like, I just want to create like a space for people that you could just put your guard down and relax. You could be authentic with me, and
I love that.
even like with the painting party stuff too. Everybody is so stressed out here, like between the cost of living
Yep.
and just like how expensive everything is. If I could give you 2 hours just to turn your brain off.
Exactly. Now, where are you located?
I am in New Jersey, but I would love to travel.
Oh, nice. Okay. Now, when you look back at your story, what inspires you most about it?
I would say just like how drawn to it I was from such a young age. I've always felt like very passionate with the arts and stuff, and I don't know. I always feel like, at least in the US, the school systems always push like, oh, go, do sports, blah, 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 sports. But what about arts too,
Right. Yeah, no, I think that is inspiring. That you from a very early age kind of tapped into that and didn't let go of it. That I do think that is very inspiring and different than
Thank
most of the
you.
people that I've been talking to. So a lot of the women that have been on the podcast have been rediscovering themselves later in life. And I love that you knew it from the beginning and didn't let go of it.
Yeah, it's so weird too, because do you know American Girl dolls at all?
Yep.
They they had like this little like booklet
Yep.
that like you would fill out or whatever with it. And then it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then I put an artist and I was like, okay, that is like trippy
Yeah.
right there. Like I was like, wow, like a little me even knew like before, like
Yeah,
wow.
I love that.
But then like I don't know, when I was younger too, I always like would dress bright colored and stuff and I always had like bigger earrings and like so I did really dress artsy too.
That's awesome. Now, one of the things I talk about a lot on this podcast is our lessons and that our failures are not really failures, but they're just opportunities for us to learn a lesson and that we grow and evolve from each of those. So, when you look back on your journey, what do you think is the common theme in your lessons?
I would say a common theme is definitely spending money on the wrong things. Because when I registered my business, I was like on the high of it.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh man, this is going to be so cool. And then, everything I kept reading, oh, get your business in front of people, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. So, like, prior to even registering it, I was like looking at just like different vending opportunities around New Jersey. So, little dumbass me spends like $1,000 on all these different shows, right? So I did like 9 of them
Mm-hmm.
last year. But then I'm like looking at all the other vendors and stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's other artists, but I feel like my work belongs more in like a gallery setting. Like it's more like fine art.
Mm-hmm.
I still lost a little bit of money, but not as much as I actually thought I did once I added it, everything up. It just was not the right move for me at that time. Plus, then I also invested in like the grid walls for like in a tent
Oh,
to
yes.
vend,
Yes.
and then I started, looking at the more fine art shows and such, and then everyone had these other, I guess, like mesh wall
Mm-hmm.
type things around their tent. And I was like, I should have bought that instead. But I was so like, I just gotta get something. Oh, this'll look okay. And then like, yeah. So now I'm trying to sell those also
Yeah.
to make some money back from that.
Well, and I think it's like anytime there's a oh shit moment, it's the opportunity to say, okay, I've learned something. Now I know. From what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like it's more refining your worth as an artist and where you belong. That's hugely valuable. That's not a failure at all. That's a investment in knowing where your art belongs, which is huge. Like I would venture to guess, I don't know a whole lot about painters. I would venture to guess that a lot of people spend decades figuring that out. So the fact that you could
Yeah.
in just less than a year figure out that that's where your art belongs, I think is incredible.
Thank you. Plus, my boyfriend's always like, you need to stop and just go to galleries. He keeps saying that to me every time I see him, too. He's like, just go. I'm like, babe, I'm getting everything together
Yes.
and ready
Yes.
now. I'm like, and it's like this morning I was doing my pricing, and then, galleries take 50% generally. So, and I'm like, is that enough for me? But then, like, you have to compare to other artists, and you don't want to be, the lowest priced or the highest price. Like, you got to be, like, in the middle. So I'm like, is that enough? Is that good? And then knowing me, I'll probably run it by my boyfriend and I'll be like, Bree, just ask for more. And I'll be more confused.
You know, I don't know how this would apply to art, but one of the things I tell women, especially when they are negotiating the salary for a job, is first of all, don't ever take the first offer. And second of all, when you are countering, ask for 20% more than you think you should. And
Okay.
that amount, usually people have like huge sticker shock, like, oh my God, I can't ask for that much. And it's just like this it's a random number, but it's just getting out of the small thinking in terms of what our worth is.
Hmm.
And it's this huge leap, I think, for a lot of people when they see that number on paper to be like, oh my God, I could never ask for that much money. And one of my ex-husbands actually did this, and he countered for this huge price. He didn't hesitate as much as women usually do,
Hmm.
and he got it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, case in point, ask for what you're worth and more than you think. I love that.
Yeah, that is so true. Because my boyfriend actually just did that with the job he just got like almost a year ago. He gave himself a $25,000 raise from the last job he was at and he got it.
Yeah,
And then they just gave him another raise too. I was like,
that's awesome.
I really like need to start asking for what I want.
It's so true. I mean, that is definitely. In my coaching, that's the first question we focus on. What do you want? Because I think a
Hmm.
lot of people don't even know what they want, but then haven't even begun the process of asking for it. You can't get what you don't ask for.
That is so true.
So when you look back and think about the younger you, what advice would you give her?
To keep all of your photos that you made in high school and not gift them to family because your dad said to. Okay, so my senior year I had to make like a photo showcase and I had to have probably like at least 7 or 8 photos. And then my dad hates stuff. My dad owns like nothing and he hates clutter and stuff. So I feel like the career that I picked it annoys him on the daily because I have stuff in every room in the house.
Yes.
You know, I was younger and I listened to him, and now I'm pissed because we don't even really talk to the extended family anymore. So I'm like, these people have like my first photos.
Yeah,
I mean, like some of, the nicer ones that I did, and I'm so pissed still. And also to just go study abroad in Italy and don't listen to your mother that it's expensive
I mean, solid advice.
because it still eats at me.
I actually went to Italy when my second daughter studied abroad, and I
Mhm.
tell you what, when she came to me with this idea of this is the college she wanted to go to because they have this sister campus and study abroad was worked into the tuition, I was like, okay, you thought this through, and I always wanted to study abroad, so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but yeah, we'll figure it out. And so when she did, at the end of her semester, I met her in Europe and we spent a week together in Italy, and it is amazing.
Yeah, like I still haven't gone to Italy yet. I just started traveling to Europe last year and also to travel younger out of the country
Yeah.
because it is so nice out there. I just want to travel more too
Yeah.
and eventually transition my, travel photography also into gallery spaces as well.
I love that. So when you think forward to kind of future plans and what you want for your life, what do you now believe is possible?
I want a six-figure art business and I also want to get into doing murals. And I also want my own space with a studio and just to travel and be happy,
Hmm.
you know? If I want to go to Europe for a couple months, I can.
Yeah.
And that's literally all I want in life.
Well, and like I say, it's never too late. You're never too old
Mhm.
to do the damn thing. I love that you have big, lofty goals. I have no doubt in my mind that you will accomplish all of them.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
So, one last question for you is, how can people find you? How can they find you and your art? And most importantly, how can they purchase from you?
So I am on Instagram. My photo account is Brie, BRIE underscore Marie underscore photography. And then my painting page is Brianne, BRIANNE Valentino Studio. That one's just like all together, no spaces, no nothing. And then my website is briannevalentino.com for photography. And then for my painting, briannevalentinostudio.com.
Perfect. Well, I will be sure to link all of those so that people can go click on them very easily. It has
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Absolutely. I love hearing about women's stories and their businesses. And I really love when women like you have kind of honed in on what that is from an early age and went for it. So incredible. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, listen. Are you struggling to find what your true purpose really is? You should try journaling. At the very least, it will get you to a better feeling place than where you are right now. I've created a set of journal prompts to get you on your way to discovering who you truly are and where you want to go from here. My free download is called Journal Yourself to Joy, and it's available at shaunalee.com under Free Stuff. These are my tried and true journal prompts that will raise your energy, increase your positivity, and brighten your day. Download yours today.